Thank you for tuning in to Broken Brilliance, featuring entrepreneurs, professionals, community leaders, and other successful individuals from all walks of life that had to be broken, crushed, or stripped down to the studs to excel beyond measure and brilliantly rise up and walk in their purpose. Learn what is really real. Receive tips, tools, and resources you can use today so that you, too, can be brilliantly broken.
Welcome to the inaugural season of the Broken Brilliance podcast. Come on in and take a seat. In fact, get comfortable. My name is Tawanda Livingston, your guide for your Broken Brilliance journey. I am humbled and honored to bring to you this season stories, testimonies, praise reports, resources, and gems of greatness that will activate the wealth warrior in you, the success savage in you, or the prosperous prophet in you. These comeback stories are from folks that looked failure in the eye and said, give it your best shot, because I refuse to go back to where I was. I refuse to worry about where I'm going, and I am determined not to stand still in silence. These individual stories you will get to hear and hopefully learn from are way makers, water walkers, hope dealers, and faith walkers. These individuals have successfully turned their casualties into catalysts of courage. They've turned their pain into purpose and even their most worst devastations to destiny-building opportunities. These individuals refuse to be disturbed, distracted, or disrupted, because what was on the other side of sometimes would seem like insurmountable challenges, failures and losses and sufferings they had to face were their possibilities, their successes, their destiny, prosperity, and life-giving and sustaining purpose. So, if you aspire to be great, if you are inspired to achieve, conquer, or dominate in life or in business, if you are motivated to move differently in life, move with expectation, and leave a legacy of greatness from the womb to the tomb, my friends, you are tuning into the right podcast so you too can be brilliantly broken. Wow, let me just tell you, I have a phenomenal, powerful speaker for this episode today. Words cannot express how grateful and fortunate I am to have today's speaker. She has served as my protege, mentor, sister in success, and as a source of perpetual inspiration in all aspects of my life. Today's speaker is a living legend, a generational entrepreneur, a powerful, influential woman, a leader, and a friend who has turned hard work into heart work. Miss Wendy Archer is the president and CEO of Groshell Logistics, a freight transportation and logistics company headquartered in Brandywine, Maryland. Her career path was, like she would like to say, was predetermined, as Miss Archer comes from a legacy of freight transporters. Her family has been in the freight business for over 23 years, and Ms. Archer has successfully worked on projects with the General Service Administration, State Department, Prince George's County government, to name a few. She is very passionate about her work and is committed to her community. Whether it is business or social, Ms. Archer enjoys helping and serving people whenever and wherever she can. She serves on several boards as a part of the board of directors and actively strives to make recommendations to improve their bottom line. Ms. Archer is a member of the Women Impacting Policy Committee, the Central Maryland Chamber of Commerce, the U.S. Women's Chamber of Commerce, and the National Association for Female Executives and Women in Trucking. Within the transportation industry, Ms. Archer is certified and qualified, among other things, in hazardous materials, food safety training and awareness, and she is certified as a woman-owned business, minority business, socially disadvantaged business, small business, and last year, Ms. Archer was recognized as one of the top 100 MBEs in the District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia by the Capital Regional Minority Supplier Development Council. She has recently put together and personally trained a group of hand-picked freight specialists with the goal of joining the exclusive $1 Million Club. Her team specializes in government contracts, heavy hauling, and importing and exporting. In her spare time, Ms. Archer is a lifetime member of Wardorf Volunteer Fire Department. Join me in welcoming my friend, my sister in success, my destiny builder, Wendy Archer. Welcome, Wendy.
Thank you, Tawanda, for that wonderful introduction.
So I gave people a summary of who you are, but that's not all who you are. So why don't you share with the listeners today a little bit more about yourself?
Okay. So I have a bachelor's degree in architecture and a master's in engineering. And my parents started a freight transportation company 20-some-odd years ago. And when they died within 6 days of each other. Mm-hmm. And they left all these companies. My dad had about 9 companies. So, we tried to run them, and I tried to help my brothers. But then I realized that my thinking was more advanced than theirs was. So I had to branch out on my own in order to continue what my father wanted me to do and just take things to a whole nother level. Mm-hmm. So I was inspired by, my dad started his business in his back bedroom. Mm-hmm. So that was where my home office is in one of the converted bedrooms. And I take pride in starting the company without having to borrow any money from anyone. So that was a huge leap right there. Since then, it's had its ups and downs and curves and swirls, and it's been wonderful. I love being an entrepreneur. I love running my own business, and every day is something different. I don't do the same thing from day to day. So that's what makes it wonderful.
And so, Wendy, let's just do exactly where you mentioned earlier. Let's start at the beginning. As a little girl, what did you dream of becoming?
At the age of 8, I told my parents I wanted to be an architect, and I wanted to go to college in Arizona. Well, they wouldn't let me go to Arizona. They said, nope, you can't go that far. You can go around here in Maryland. The furthest you can go is New York. So I went to New York Tech and got my bachelor's degree. Mm-hmm. And when I finished, my dad said, that's not enough. Mm-hmm. Keep it moving. And then I came back to Maryland and went to the University of Maryland and joined their engineering program in fire protection engineering. Mm-hmm. I minored in construction management, so when I came back and started working in Washington, D.C., I worked on construction sites. I worked with the design team. So as a consultant with GSA, I've had the honor of being on the design team for the Oklahoma City Federal Campus, the FDA White Oak Campus, FDA College Park Campus. So I've had a lot of wonderful projects. I was on Freddie Mac 2, Freddie Mac 3. Okay. So working in a predominantly male field has just, come natural, and it brings a lot of joy.
Okay. So tell us about some of the challenges of working in a male-dominated field and also studying in a male-dominated degree field as well. And then also tell us about what are those things that brought you great pleasure in working in a male-dominated field.
Okay, well, that's a lot right there.
So what's the challenges? I mean, I'm pretty sure that you face many challenges being a woman, a black woman in the field of architecture, engineering, and then in the construction field.
Well, it's always a given when the men see a woman on the job site. They don't automatically give you the respect that you deserve. You have to earn their respect and earn their trust. And there are some men that just don't want women in the field at all, and they give you a hard time. Mm-hmm. So learning how to overcome those things and to let people know that we're all on the same team. We're just trying to build this building, and let's do it correctly. Let's do it safely, and let's do it together.
Mm-hmm.
So with my bubbly personality, I was able to manage the men folks and gain their respect. So when I would go in the field and say, hey, this beam looks a little bit off. Let's check this again. So they began to respect me.
Because they saw that you were highly competent and capable of doing the job.
Right.
It's always amazing how men are rewarded and promoted on potential, and women are rewarded and promoted on performance, and that standard still exists today. So you got over those challenges. You rose up to them. You got over those challenges. So share with us some of the pleasures of working in a male-dominated field, some of the opportunities that it presented to you.
I got to testify on Capitol Hill on one of my projects. That was a wonderful experience. And I've had the honor of working with a lot of great people. Mm-hmm. And by doing that, we all learn from each other. Mm-hmm. But then people want you to continue, hey, I want her on my project. I want her on my project. And that's the joy right there.
Yeah.
I mean, the salary started to come as I got more experience and more buildings under my belt. Mm-hmm. But the joy was being requested. I want her to work. I want her to work on my project. That was the joy right there.
Yeah, I could imagine. So starting on your journey at 8, going to New York to obtain your bachelor's, then coming back home to get your master's, and then also working in the construction. You also had a minor in the construction management, and you worked in that field. How did that prepare you for what would be ultimately in your future of taking over your parents' businesses? And let me just offer my sincere condolences. To lose one parent it'll knock the breath out of you. But to lose both parents in a short period of time, within days of each other, that will definitely knock you on your ass. And some people would not be able to get up from that. So the first question I have for you is, how did working in those fields prepare you for what your ultimate destiny was going to be at that time? And then share with us that part of your life where you lost the two most important people in your life and then had to step up to run their businesses, which ultimately became your businesses.
Okay. The education, having an architecture degree and an engineering degree taught me how to be resilient in anything that I do.
Wow.
So that it gave me the confidence that no matter what, I can figure anything out.
Wow.
I'm a fixer. I can fix anything.
Wow.
And the other part of the question was how losing two parents, I don't even know if I'm over it. It was, 6 years ago, and I feel as though I did not truly have time to mourn. I feel like every day, I have pictures of my parents in my office, and I look, and that inspires me to continue to move on. I don't feel as though I was prepped for running the companies, but I was instilled with the grace and the commitment and the determination of what it takes to be successful in business. So my dad taught me a lot of lessons in business, but I feel as though I needed to go to business school to run a business. And eventually I did. I was accepted into a program with Georgetown University and MWA, the Metropolitan Washington Airport Authority, called Project 500. And without that, I don't think I would be where I am today, because they taught me so much, all these other things you need to do to run a successful business. I mean, that was an awesome program. And my parents didn't teach me all that because I guess they never thought they would both go so suddenly.
Well, I could tell you that God is his divine wisdom was preparing you for the role he knew that you would need to assume. Now, although your parents may not have given you the scholastic or the education piece related to business, they did leave you with some wisdom. And it's that wisdom that I admire about you. You are definitely a very, very smart, keen, sharp businesswoman. You have a sharp mind, and you speak from a place of wisdom, not just the education piece, because education is basically theory until you put it into practice, and then you can turn that into wisdom. And it's that divine wisdom that you have that helps the light in you shine, Wendy, and it shines through everything you do. Everything you touch multiplies. Yeah, I know you may not think that, but it does. You plant a seed in everything you touch, and it multiplies because of the wisdom that you impart and the light that you're willing to share and to be able to serve and teach others about your business and how to do business and what your lessons learned were so they would not make those mistakes in starting their business or wherever they are in their business process and the entrepreneurial journey. So I appreciate that, and I want to let you know that.
Thank you so much, Tawanda. I saw a little bit of my light this afternoon in a meeting, and I don't always see that light. But today I saw it, because I couldn't understand. Why am I being invited to this meeting?
Yeah.
And I really, it was developing a new partnership, but at the end, when the meeting was over, the gentleman that invited me pulled me to the side and says, Wendy, I'm glad you're here, and I'm just going to need you to take the ball and run with it, because the other gentleman, he respects you more than me, and I need you just to make it happen. And I was like, wow, really? That was nice.
And when people entrust you like that, that speaks to your equity, your brand equity, your credibility. It also reconfirms what I already know. It confirms what I already know, that you are a brilliant businesswoman who's highly competent. You possess knowledge, skills, and abilities that are priceless in the marketplace, and you're willing to share those. So that makes you a powerful light and an influence.
Thank you.
Now that we've talked about business, one of the things you mentioned was that you had siblings and you had to take the reins from your siblings to get the businesses on track. How did that bode with your relationships with your siblings when you did that?
We hit some rocks and head on. Mm-hmm. People get emotional, and one thing I learned from my dad is that business is business, personal is personal. You can never bring personal, emotional feelings into any business decision at all, no matter what. And I've always remembered that. But it was a little rocky. My siblings, weren't too happy, because at the same time we're all still grieving. Mm-hmm. And we're all confused. We don't know what to do. We don't know what we're supposed to do. Is this what Dad really wanted? Why aren't they here? They need to come back. That was everyone's reaction for like the first year. Like, what are we doing? What's going on? So trying to rope all that in and keep the companies going and putting everybody on a stable ground, it was quite challenging. And having so many owners, it's four of us, 2 boys, 2 girls. Mm-hmm. It's hard to make decisions and have everyone agree on, okay, well, let's swap out how we do our warehouse management and buy a whole new system and come into the 21st century. So getting everyone all on the same page was very challenging, very challenging. So we've learned to try and work together and understand that everyone has a certain set of skills. Yeah. Not everyone is destined to be an entrepreneur or run a business. My sister is she works in IT, but she is a Navy reservist who goes TDY quite often, on behalf of our country, and she fights for our freedom. She just returned back from Kuwait, about a month ago.
Wow.
And yeah, so it's she knows that she enjoys doing that, and that's her thing.
Mhm.
So we have to learn to respect what people's decisions are and where their skills lie.
Mhm.
And we've had to learn as adults that, when we were growing up, we all fun and joked, and you know how it is in a household full of kids.
Yeah.
But as we're older, we've had to learn that we're not the same little kids that we grew up together. We're grown adults with lots of new ideas, experiences, and we've turned into, well-rounded people.
Mhm.
So it's been challenging, but we got through it, and we're still getting through it.
Well, I'd like to thank your sister for her service and continue to fight for our freedoms that we get to enjoy, a luxury many do not. So really, really hats off to your sister. We salute her. And what I like to also inquire about is that some people say you can't work with family. What do you think?
I would have to agree. I would have to agree, unless that family member shares your values and beliefs in the world of business.
Mm-hmm.
And if they are even-minded and willing to compromise, then it could work out.
Right.
But when people don't know business and you're working with family, that's where they get into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And then families break apart.
Yeah, yeah. But you guys have managed to stay together and work it out. Some people would have shut the doors and sold the business. But what made you not shut the doors and close the business, Wendy, and say, you know what, we're not giving this up?
Well, I turned it all over to my brother. I told him, I said, you know what, why don't you run it all? And I'm going to go back to Maryland and start my own company. And that's what I did.
Okay.
And sometimes you have to know when to step away, because if we're in business together and we don't share the same values and goals, and you can't see my dream, then that's time for me to step down and do my own thing.
Yeah. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. So you started your own business. Now, on this journey, from the time you and your family members took over to the business to you opening your own business, can you share some of the sacrifices, or what I like to call investments, you had to make in order to bring this to fruition?
To bring my company, my new company?
Your entrepreneurial journey to your own company.
It was a very scary time, because, you're scared. You're going out on a limb. You're saying, okay, well, I won't have a steady paycheck anymore. You're going to eat what you kill. If you don't kill anything, you're not going to eat. So I gave all that. I gave that stability up so that I could have my own independence.
Yeah.
And my husband was my biggest supporter, and every day he'd tell me, babe, you got this. Figure it out. Just figure it out. That's what your dad would tell you. Figure it out. And he would say that, oh my God, every day for the first 7 months. That was like his thing on the way out the door. That's what he would tell me. I'm like, oh gosh, I don't want to let anybody else down. So, I just try and continue to do what I can do to make things happen. So I've had to give up time hanging out with friends and family. I work late, so I've had to learn to shift my exercise schedule so that I can still stay healthy and care for myself. I can't do it like how I used to, so now I've got to get up at 4:30 in the morning just so I can get it out the way.
Yeah.
I know that doesn't sound right, but...
Yeah, I understand. Look, I don't like exercise. Not everybody likes the gym, and it's not all kumbaya, and, it's not the church for your body like everybody wants to believe. It is hard work. So getting it out of the way, you're speaking to the choir. Let's get it out of the way, get that part out of the way. And I like what you stated about going on this entrepreneurial journey required you to give up stability for risk. You could have lived a very comfortable life given your degrees and education and experience, and you could have just been complacent and comfortable working for an organization or another company, but you chose, see, that's what I'm getting to, the choice. You chose entrepreneurship, even though, according to the story you just shared, earlier on, when it was presented to you, is not something that you ideally wanted, but you still chose it. What made you choose instability over stability? What made you choose being uncomfortable and not complacent over being comfortable and complacent?
I got to rewind just a little bit so that you understand where I got my actual taste of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
So my last project that I worked on with GSA was St. Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad asked me to quit. He said, just quit that good job and come on over here, and I got something for you. So I quit, and he bought some land in Atlanta, Georgia, and he wanted me to go there and manage a parking lot. He was building a parking lot across from a Kroger facility. Kroger's like a Safeway or a Giant, a supermarket.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was there about a year, and just the managing that and being out there on my own, reporting back to my dad, this is where we are, blah, blah, blah. And that's when I realized at that point, I like this. I only have one person that I have to answer to. That's pretty cool. That was when I got my first taste.
Mm-hmm.
So when my parents died and I was trying to, organize the companies, we sold a couple, we kept a couple, that's when I realized that you have to step out there. You got to take a chance. If you want to grow and be successful, you have to take risk. So when my brothers and sisters weren't willing to, make modifications to make my dad's existing businesses better, that's when I said, you know what? I can do this. I can do this on my own and make it how Dad really wanted it. Mm-hmm. I can do this. That's when I went out and said, all right, I'm going to start my own company.
Wow. And in starting your own company, share with the listeners a little bit more about Groshell Logistics.
It was a little rocky at first. So one thing I can say is a lesson I learned from my dad, by him having so many companies, he told me that you always have to keep your hand in different pots. Mm-hmm. Don't keep one pot boiling. You got to have a couple.
Right.
And that equates to multiple streams of income. That's basically what he was saying.
Yes, yes.
So when I started Groshell Logistics, I wanted multiple pots to boil. So I chose freight transportation, move management or office moves, and warehousing and storage, because I wanted to have those three divisions so that I could put my hands in different pots and my revenue streams would always flow. If one was half full, I still had another one that was full and it was generating revenue. Mm-hmm. When we did that, the freight transportation part, I didn't really know much about how to go about getting clients. So I'm a Landstar broker agent. Mm-hmm. So you have to go find all your own clients. Mm-hmm. My husband had a football party at the house and invited, some friends and relatives. And, my job is just to cook and stay upstairs and lead the men folk downstairs. Mm-hmm. So I love to cook. I don't mind making chicken wings, and you guys watch your football game. So one of his cousins came upstairs and was talking and asked what I did, and I told him, and he made an introduction to me for someone that he worked with at Northrop Grumman. And to this day, they're one of our largest clients.
Wow.
And if it weren't for that relationship, mm-hmm. I don't think I would have snagged such a wonderful client like that. So I've learned that, when you're starting your business, that you have to build the relationships, and then they don't always come right away. Mm-hmm. It takes time to cultivate the relationship so that people feel comfortable with you and trust you and get to know you and your brand.
Absolutely. And so we're now in the midst of a pandemic. We have social unrest going on. There are a lot of challenges facing our nation and our world. How has that impacted your business, and how have you counterattacked to make sure your business continues to thrive.
Groshell's Freight Transportation Division has the expertise and experience to handle your challenging transportation needs. We deliver freight and the highest levels of service while cutting transportation costs and optimizing your current operating environment. We are a highly efficient carrier, and we apply that knowledge and expertise to examining your business and reducing your cost. We have over 20 years of experience running successful, dedicated operations across the country and abroad. We offer guaranteed capacity access to our nationwide network of partnered carriers to handle your shipping spikes. We'll source customized equipment to meet your needs. And our very low drive and associate turnover means more consistent service. Our driving associates bring value to your network by delivering freight safely and on time. Choosing us means your brand will be represented by one of the most respected carriers in the industry. To learn more, please visit GroshellLogistics.com. We also carry customized face masks made to order. For more information or to place an order, call 301-732-7810 or email Wendy at wendy@teamgroshell.com.
We're now in the midst of a pandemic. We have social unrest going on. There are a lot of challenges facing our nation and our world. How has that impacted your business, and how have you counterattacked to make sure your business continues to thrive?
Okay. Well, as you know, the pandemic has affected every single business worldwide. So we had to do a swivel. We swiveled, and we started making face masks. So we do customized logo masks for different companies. We do masks with motivational phrases on them. I've got an order sitting right here on my desk for the Nelson Manor. They're ordering about 100 masks.
Wow.
It's a bed and breakfast, and they have all these creative inspirational statements they want on their mask. And I've learned that as a woman entrepreneur, we have to continue to check in with our colleagues to see how they're doing. And with this pandemic, I've done more check-ins with my clients and my colleagues to make sure that they're okay. So that's generated a lot of business just by doing check-ins.
Wow.
So this time last year, we weren't making as much money. The pandemic has increased our revenues greatly. So our warehousing and storage, we do the fulfillment. The fulfillment kind of slowed down, but there's still the warehouse and storage is still active, but people just aren't shipping the fulfillment items out as much. On the freight side, when the pandemic hit, March, April, May, the rates bottomed out, and the clients were offering truck drivers $1 a mile, and my guys are like, we're going to park, because $1 a mile is not enough to put gas in your tank, pay your truck note, or insurance. So they sat out for the whole month of May, June, and we just got ramped back up come July.
Right.
So now the pricings are a little bit where they should be compared to last year, but they're still because everyone is hurting for the money, so the clients are not really willing to pay full price like they did a year ago. So we're still experiencing some of that, but it's leveling out now, and all three of our divisions are doing well. We just did an office move with Kaiser in Frederick, Maryland. So we're about to do another one in a couple of weeks with the Norfolk Naval Air Station. So we're slowly getting back up there, but I think staying in touch with our customers, our clients, our colleagues has given us more referral business. So when we did our swivel with the face mask, we purposely didn't advertise on Facebook, Instagram. We didn't. It's all by referral, and it's been wonderful.
Wow. Then that's a great testimony and praise report where you as a business owner, here's your core line of business, but you saw an opportunity where, I like that word swivel as opposed to pivot and shift, swivel your business so that you can develop a new product for your clients, and it was all referrals. All the business that you've generated related to face masks, and I can testify that they are high quality face masks. It's not, something that you sewn together, put together with some glue and string. These are high quality face masks and durable face masks, and you were able to sell them not just to individuals, but we're talking about businesses are now coming to you asking for these customized face masks. That is an awesome testimony. And again, it goes back and it's proof positive for me and hopefully for the listeners on this podcast that I was absolutely correct in stating that you are a woman of wisdom. You are keen, you're a shrewd businesswoman, you're wise, and I would have to debate you, Wendy, on one thing.
What's that?
Said that your father did not prepare you for entrepreneurship. He may not have prepared you the way you wanted to prepare, like a formal education, but every time I ask you about business, you went back to something your father taught you. And so, like I said, he imparted something and you. He was planting those seeds, those wisdoms, those know-hows, that practical experience, that hands-on experience. You can't beat it. You can't get that from a classroom. That only comes by an opportunity afforded you to demonstrate that. And he also shared with you what you don't learn in the classroom, right? The real ins and outs of owning a business and being an entrepreneur. Wendy, all you've endured up until this point with your parents' business, your own business, the ups and downs of marketing, and now the pandemic, and yet you are still thriving. You are still thriving.
Yeah, and we're excited every day. We've got new opportunities every day, like
wow.
This business meeting we had today where I just, I told you I realized I was a little light in that venture, and we're continuously getting new opportunities. Hey, can you guys do this? Can you do that? And you're right. I don't have a formal business education other than what I learned at Georgetown University, but I spent a lot of time with my dad. I mean, I'm that kid that would come over to the house at 2 a.m. to use the restroom. Well, Dad, you're already up. What's up? What you doing? Oh, I'm going over some paperwork here. I'm like, let me see. And then that's me asking questions, always, all up in his face. That's how I learned what he was doing.
That is awesome. He not only left the spirit of entrepreneurship, but it's clear that you had a wonderful relationship with your father that most of us wish that we could have with our fathers. And he has instilled into you, like I said, not only entrepreneurship, but being a great businesswoman, being smart, being keen, and more importantly, the freedom that comes from not working for someone else. All the hours that you spend, all the investments, or some people will call sacrifices that you've made, they have went into building your brand the way you wanted, your vision. And from the story you tell, it seems like you learned that from your parents. And what a great legacy to leave in you and with you. So would you say that the next generation is ready to take over?
I'm trying to teach my daughter some of the things that I've learned. And, she's 22, and they have a whole different mindset. So her view is, okay, Mom, I'm going to just start journaling all these things you're telling me. So she, I guess, is getting ready to, prepare to write a book about what I'm trying to teach her, as opposed to come on in and learn hands-on. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to get her around to stepping into the company and helping out some more.
Well, that's good. That's good. I mean, as you stated, just like you cut your own path, maybe she'll cut her own path in entrepreneurship and take Groshell to a whole different level, being able to offer other services and goods to the marketplace. And she's extremely creative, so being able to leverage and tap into that is definitely a plus, not only for her growth, but also you passing on the legacy to her, being able to let her walk in her purpose, walk in her calling. And and I don't know whether she knows this or not, but she's very blessed to have parents that support that. Now, we've talked about business. We talked about your entrepreneurial journey. We talked about your education, your knowledge, skills, and abilities, your know-how. And also, we've talked about how your business is thriving in the midst of economic challenges related to the pandemic that has stricken our nation and our world. As you look back over your life, Wendy, now that you look back at that 8-year-old girl, the one that wanted to go halfway across the country to go to architectural school, what would you say to her, that 8-year-old you, knowing what you know now?
I would tell her to go to Arizona. I would have told her to stick by your convictions, and if you have that dream, just follow your dream, no matter what. Don't let anybody change or modify that dream. I feel like my dream was modified, but I still got to achieve a lot of things. But I don't know if I would have had all those wonderful opportunities in Arizona that I had when I went to college in New York. So I don't know. But I would tell that little girl, follow your dreams.
Well, let me just tell you, your degrees have not gone to waste. You wanted to be an architect. Well, you've designed a business that's built for sustainable success. You also are an engineer, and that means that you have built a business on solid ground that could withstand, as you have testified today, that can withstand the test of a weary economy. It has been tried and tested, and yet it still stands. That speaks to the design that was done by the architect and the construction that was done by the engineer in you. So, again, I think that 8-year-old girl, her dreams have come to fruition and come true. We always when we dream, we seem to dream linear, right? Like, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. We dream that way. We do not dream with detours. Like, I have to go here, I got to go there, go there, go there. But it's those detours and those challenges that we encounter that is helping us build the emotional muscle to gain the knowledge, skills, and ability, and more importantly, wisdom that we're going to need in the future, although when we're living through it, it doesn't seem that way. I am so grateful of the journey that you've taken, because your journey brought you to me, and my journey brought me to you. And I'm not sure if our paths would have crossed if you were in Arizona or halfway across the country. So I'm grateful. I say all that to say I'm grateful for divine intervention and detours that you had to take that has brought our relationship together. So, and I appreciate you so very much. I just can't express in words.
Well, thank you, Tawanda, and I've truly appreciated you mentoring me these past years and guiding me and keeping me lifted up. I mean, without that, it's hard to say where I would be today. I mean, you were very instrumental in keeping my business running.
Oh, Wendy, it's all you. You did all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, but there are times where I wanted to quit, and I called you, and you said, "What? Oh no, we'll figure this out. We're gonna figure something out." And we did. We did a lot of prayer.
Failure is not an option. So.
Right. It wasn't. And without you pushing me to you can't quit. Mm-hmm. And I am truly grateful that you stayed on me.
Mm-hmm. And I'm grateful that you stayed in the game, because we need more businesses like yourself to stay in the game. Even when the economy stuns you and shocks you, we need for businesses to stay in the game. And I'm always speaking to small businesses and minority businesses and women businesses, and I tell them it's easier to recover from a slowdown than a shutdown. So even if you have to slow it down and swivel like your business did, it's okay. It's okay as long as you keep moving forward. Because when you swivel, it may open up another line of business and products and services that you could bring to the market that you had not even thought of. Or maybe you had thought of and it was on the drawing board, but now you brought it to the market because it was the right time. But we need businesses like yours to stay in the game. I'm so happy that you stayed in the game. I'm so happy that you did not give in to failure, defeat, and more importantly, the option of quitting, of saying, you know what, I'm done. I'm so happy that you didn't make that choice. It's the choices that you have made that have brought Groshell Logistics to a new line of business that is thriving. And you're providing a safety product to the world. The people that are purchasing it, they're getting a quality safety product, so you're also protecting the health and well-being of your communities and businesses. Wendy, the impact you've made on the world thus far has been tremendous, and I'm not sure whether you realize the significant and powerful impact you've made on people's lives and businesses because of your presence, because of the choices that have brought you to this very point.
Well, thank you. And sometimes, I don't take the time to look back at what I've done and how it's impacted those around me and those that directly benefited from, what I've done. I don't always take the time to do that because I'm looking ahead. What's my next gig?
Mhm.
So thank you.
You're definitely a hustler, and that's the inspirational quote itself. I'm a hustler. I own the hustle game, and that's you.
If you could see my whiteboard today, my mantra for today, it says "Hustle hard today."
Yeah, okay.
That's what it says on my board. Yes, because I believe you got to keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to keep things in my pipeline, and I do need to take the time to just stay calm and reflect every now and then on what I did and how it impacted the world.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. You're absolutely right. The first people to buy our face masks were from Georgetown University.
Wow.
And I kid you not, they are ordering masks every single week. When masks are delivered, they place another order. When they deliver, another order. So they've been consistent. The folks over at Northern Grumman have been consistent with ordering masks, and I feel that we are making a difference because there are a lot of poor quality face masks out here.
Mm-hmm.
And people just don't realize it, but I do feel good about our product, and people are sharing it, telling other folks about it.
Yes, and the fact that you've made them customized to favorite sports teams, universities, bed and breakfasts, and companies and organizations, and putting inspirational quotes and images on them, shows that even though we have to be safe, does not mean we have to suffer in our style. Like, we could still be fashionistas and still be inspired and encouraged even when the environment is suggesting something different.
Yes. Yeah, and the inspirational ones are a real big hit. So we've got a client in Washington, D.C. It's called Dry Care Garment. It's a progressive dry cleaner, and we made their logo mask. So now they've invited us to display some of our motivational masks in their stores.
Wow.
And they're going to, sell them for us.
Wow. Now that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
And you got to embrace the swivel.
That's right. Embrace the swivel.
We're embracing it. Yeah.
Keep that neck on swivel. They used to say, in the streets, we would say, keep that neck on swivel. So that is awesome. So as we wrap up the podcast, what would be something you want to leave the audience when your call to action for you or your business?
I would like to tell the future entrepreneurs and all your listeners that continue to dream big. Make your dream a reality by completing those tasks that will get you to your end game. Don't ever compromise your beliefs, your values, or your integrity. Your integrity is everything. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, be happy with your decisions. Be the person of your word, because that's all you have is your word. Give back. And remember that what you put out in the universe, it will come back to you.
Sowing and reaping. Thank you for dropping those gems of greatness, Wendy. We really appreciate that. How can one purchase these custom masks that you are selling at this time?
You can call or text us at 301-732-7810, or you can send an email to Wendy at Team Groshell. That's Wendy, Wendy, at Team Groshell, TeamGroshell.com.
And also, now we don't want to forget your core line of businesses, warehouse and storage, freight and moving. What about clients who want to tap into those services? How can they reach you?
The same numbers, and we will give you a free quote for any items you want shipped. We ship internationally. Our last international shipment was actually to Kuwait. So we ship all over the world, and we offer, it doesn't have to be a whole truck. It can be half a truck or a quarter of a truck. It can be 10 boxes, 20, 50. We move it all. So if you have an office that you need relocated because of flooding or whatever, give us a ring, and we'll be more than happy to work with you on giving you a quote and some quality work. Groshell Logistics, give us a call.
Absolutely. And I can definitely endorse Groshell Logistics and the services they offering, their core business, as well as their swivel business. Mask. I love it. And I really appreciate you being with us for Broken Brilliance, because, Wendy, you are, when I thought about this podcast and what it was going to be about, I knew that I wanted you to be a guest. So I am so happy to see that my dreams have come true, and I can't thank you enough and share with you how grateful I am for you to come on to share your very intimate journey, and also to share your successes and your failures, your challenges, and the wisdoms from your father that have carried on. And they will continue to carry on, because now you have given those gems of greatness to the world via Broken Brilliance, and I really appreciate that. I know, because I know you and your business and the confidence you have, the tenacity, the resilience, and the commitment to a strong and ethical work ethic, that your business and you are set up for perpetual successes and blessings, because you represent a person who definitely, without hesitation, have put out in the world, have served beyond service and selflessly. And so you have sown a lot, and I'm happy to witness your reaping season, your blessed season. So again, I can't say enough how much I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Tawanda. Thank you. That means a lot.
Thank you for tuning in to the Broken Brilliance podcast with your host, Tawanda Livingston, CEO of Livingston Works, for your emotional, mental, and business tune-ups. Support our guest speakers by following them on social media, visiting their websites, and purchasing their goods or services. You've been inspired, you've been motivated, you've been activated to move differently in your business and life with unwavering expectations. It's your time to shine. Arrest and cancel self-sabotage, self-defeat, self-hate, and every negative thought, and continuously unlock your purpose, passion, and possibilities. You have been equipped with an arsenal of inspiration and motivation to be an overcomer, a conqueror, an achiever, because you, my friend, are brilliantly broken. Remember to like, share, and tune into the next episode of Broken Brilliance.